Sports in America. Sports play an important role in American society. They enjoy tremendous popularity, but more important, they are vehicles for transmitting values such as justice, fair play, and teamwork. Sports have contributed to racial and social integration and over history have been a social glue bonding the country together. What I want to point out here is the idea of a vehicle. We think of cars and maybe a bus, a plane, but a vehicle is really anything that can get something somewhere. So this paragraph is telling me that sports are a vehicle for justice, fair play, and teamwork. It's a way of getting those things to happen. Early Americans like Benjamin Franklin and President Thomas Jefferson stressed the need for exercise and fitness, promoting, for example, running and swimming. In the 20th century, American presidents Theodore Roosevelt, Dwight D. Eisenhower, and John F. Kennedy continued to encourage physical activity. President Dwight D. Eisenhower founded the President's Council on Youth Fitness in 1956 to encourage America's youth to make fitness a priority. So I want us to pause right here in the third paragraph, and I want you guys to understand that this is an opinion. A lot of people would really disagree with President Eisenhower. You don't need to work out, fitness isn't important, it's not good for the brain. So the idea that President Eisenhower really wanted to focus on fitness and made this whole big council on fitness it's something he believed in. And yes, there is science that proves that the fitness can do great things for our bodies, but again, it's his opinion. The council later became the President's Council Group on Physical Fitness and Sports, including people of all ages and abilities, and promoting fitness through sports and games. Today, the council continues to play an important role in promoting fitness and healthy living in America. The United States offers limitless opportunities to engage in sports, either as a participant or as a spectator. Team sports were a part of life in colonial America. Native American peoples played a variety of ball games, including some that may be viewed as earlier forms of lacrosse. The typical American sports of baseball, basketball, and football, however, arose from games that were brought to America by the first settlers that arrived from Europe in the 17th century. These games were refashioned and elaborated in the course of the 19th century and are now the most popular sports in the United States. To refashion something, I think of like fashion like clothes, and maybe if my sister wore something that I really like, but I want to give it my own vibe, I would refashion it. So it's like tweaking something. And elaborating is when you add on to something. So if I asked, what would it be to refashion a sport or elaborate on a sport, maybe the way in which you get points changes. Maybe there's an extra skill you need to have that they incorporate. So, yes, they kind of copied off of, but they made it their own as well in the United States. Various social rituals have grown up around athletic contests. The local high school football or basketball game represents the biggest event of the week for residents in many communities across the United States. Fans of major university and professional football teams often gather in parking lots outside stadiums to eat a tailgate picnic lunch before kickoff, and for parties in front of television sets in each other's homes during the professional championship game, the Super Bowl. Thousands of baseball fans flee the snow and ice for the North for a week or two each winter by making a pilgrimage to training camps in the South and Southwest to watch up close their favorite players prepare for the spring opening of professional baseball season. Individual competitions accompanied the growth of team sports. Shooting and fishing contests were part of the colonial experience, as were running, boxing, and horse racing. Golf and tennis emerged in the 1800s. Recent decades have given birth to a wide variety of challenging activities and contests such as sailboarding, mountain biking, and sport climbing, collectively referred to as the extreme sports. So if I look over this, an introduction, maybe both of these could work as an introduction, some information on the President's Council of Youth Fitness. This is a huge paragraph talking about all sorts of ways that sports have elaborated. And then this last one here is a little bit of an extension to extreme sports. The second page in your reading for today is the same text in chunks. And chunks sort of help us out because, if we look here, this is really overwhelming, especially this fourth paragraph. So they kind of, we kind of, chunk things out and space him out to kind of really gather his opinions and his evidence in here. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. This is way easier to work with than this. So this is attached. So there are 6 chunks total, and they're easier to manage to answer your questions. So you're going to be working through this for your independent reading work.